So today we will start. In the last class we already discussed about the molecular orbital energy levels and its shapes of orbitals regarding the homodiatomic molecules, and we also saw an example of heterodiatomic molecule like carbon monoxide. Today we will discuss the pi molecular orbitals of polyenes. If you remember, we discussed polyenes with respect to one-dimensional box, model of one-dimensional box, right? So today we will see how the MOs of that look like. So to construct pi molecular orbitals of polyenes, right, we have to follow some rules. See, these polyenes of course have carbon-carbon sigma bond and carbon-hydrogen sigma bonds also, right? But while constructing polyenes, we will not consider them. These polyene pi molecular orbitals can be constructed independently of these sigma bonds. This is our first assumption. Secondly, if the polyene system contains n pi electrons, where n is even, right, then there will be n by 2 bonding molecular orbitals and n by 2 anti-bonding molecular orbitals. This is of course known because n pi electrons, right, will give n by 2 pairs, right? So that's why we will have n by 2 bonding molecular orbitals which will be filled, right? We will see how this occurs. Okay, and the third point, the lowest molecular orbital have 0 nodes and the next higher will have 1 node, and so on. We already studied this regarding when we studied one-dimensional box, that the lowest wave will have no nodes and the next higher one will have 1 more nodes each, right? The general formula is n minus 1. So as you go up, the number of n increases, the number of nodes also increases. And fourth point, an important one, is that when you construct nodes, you must be in the most symmetric point. What does this mean? Suppose we have a butadiene type of system, so there are 4 carbons, so 3 carbon-carbon bonds are available. Now if you have to put one node, where it will be, you cannot just put it here, you cannot put it here, you cannot put it here, because these are not symmetric. You have to put it here because this is the most symmetric position, right? Now you have to put, say, 2 nodes, then the position would be here and here, right? You cannot put it here and here. You cannot put it neither in between C1 and C2 and C2 and C3. You have to put it between C1 and C2 and C3 and C4, because this will give you the most symmetric point, right? So with this knowledge, we can start constructing the molecular orbitals of polyenes. Now let us see this picture. We have already seen it in the last lecture during while discussion of the formation of pi MOs from these p orbitals, right? Similar is the case with ethylene, the smallest alkene, right? So it will have pi orbitals. Now if you draw the pi molecular orbitals of ethylene, right, one, you can do it constructively, then you get the bonding. This is the bonding and this is the anti-bonding. This is the anti-bonding. This is the constructive interference, right? Constructive, and this is the destructive interference. So now in pen and paper, in for our daily use, it is very difficult to draw this kind of diagrams, right? Rather we prefer to draw this kind of diagrams, right? In your examination also, you will be when you are asked to draw molecular orbitals, you prefer this kind of diagrams which are easy to use, right? this kind of diagram where one p orbital, the two p orbital are shaded similar, right? This means they are in phase. It shows that this is the bonding situation, right? And where they are out of phase shows it is a anti-bonding situation, right? So these are the pi molecular orbitals of ethylene. The next higher polyene is, of course, the diene, butadiene, right? So this is our butadiene, right? This is our butadiene. Of course, there are hydrogens in there, right? Now see, we are constructing the molecular orbitals of butadiene with the help of pi molecular orbitals of ethylene, right? Here we have the ethylene, two ethylenes. Suppose two ethylene is making up of butene, right? Like carbon, two hydrogen atoms is making up of H2, similar to that. Okay. Now you see, each ethylene have two MOs, one bonding, one anti-bonding, one bonding, one anti-bonding. So there are four MOs that will give rise to, if you combine it, suppose these are now atomic orbitals, you are combining to get what? Your number of MOs will also be 4, right? So if these two bonding MOs of ethylene combine constructively, you get this one. This is our the psi 1, right? Psi 1 or the lowest energy. And you see all the situations are bonding here. Bonding situation, bonding situation, bonding situation. So there is no nodes are there, right? There is no nodes. So this is the lowest energy. Next, if these two, this one and this one, suppose they interact destructively, interfere destructively. Suppose you invert one of them, right? It will look like this if you invert it, right? Now you see what is there. There is a bonding situation. Here also there is a bonding situation, but here there is a non-bonding situation. Non-bonding situation. That means here there is a node, right? So this is, here lies the node in the most symmetric position. First node, so this is in the between C2 and C3. Okay. So this is our node. So this is, we can call it psi 2. Okay. So the next higher one, if you consider the constructive interference of the two anti-bonding orbitals, constructive interference of the two anti-bonding orbitals. Now you see what is there. Suppose you invert it in the sidewise, right? If you rotate it like this and put it here, then you will get something like this. See, here there is a non-bonding situation, so node. Here also there is a node, and it is from this non-bonding ethylene orbitals only. But here you have a bonding situation. So there are two nodes now, right? So there are two nodes now. Sorry, just a minute. It's stop recording. Okay. So there are two nodes now, okay, and one bonding situation. So this is our psi 3. From psi 1 there was no node, psi 2 there was one node, psi 3 there is two node, okay. And lastly the psi 4, you see there is no bonding situation. Here is also a node, here also a node, here also a node. So there are three nodes here, right? So this is the diagram for butadiene pi molecular orbitals, right? So if it is asked to draw the pi molecular orbitals, you just draw these four. You do not have to show the formation from ethylene. You can show it, but if it is just asked to draw the four pi molecular orbitals, just you can draw this one. Okay, so what you saw from rising from psi 1 to psi 4, the number of modes increased, right, and the bonding interaction decreased, right. Now see, here you can find 2 electrons. Of course, each ethylene will have 2 pi electrons, right? So that means there is total of 4 pi electrons in butadiene system, and they will be occupying as if following the Hund's rule and this Aufbau principle. So the psi 1 will be fully occupied and psi 2 will be fully occupied, and one psi 3 and psi 4 will be empty. Remember our points regarding this one. See the number 2 point. It will give, if there is 4 electron system, right, it will give 4 by 2, that is 2 bonding molecular orbitals and 2 anti-bonding molecular orbitals, which will be empty, and the bonding orbitals will be filled up. So this is our that case here, right. Now see, that means the line of demarcation is here, right. So here is our barycenter. Here is our barycenter, and below this barycenter we have our this bonding orbitals, and above it is the anti-bonding orbitals. Okay, so this is the how we construct the butadiene pi molecular orbitals. Okay, now similarly we can do this for hexatriene also. See, on the extreme right panel we have this hexatriene system, right. This is psi 1, psi 2, psi 3, psi 4, psi 5, psi 6, right. Now forget about the combinations. Here it is shown by the combination of this ethylene and butadiene molecular orbitals, but by that those points also you can directly construct, right. So the lowest one will be something which do not have any node. So psi 1 have no nodes. The next one, there will be node, but where the node will be? In the most symmetric position. So between carbon 3 and 4. The next here, there will be 2 nodes, and again in the most symmetric position, and the symmetric positions will be here and here. Then there will be 3 nodes. How to put 3 nodes? 1, 2, 3, right. So this is why with a little practice you can draw this easily, right. And here there will be 4 nodes, and all 5 nodes are here. Okay, and hexatriene is a 6 pi electron system. So there will be 3 6 by 2, 3 bonding and 3 anti-bonding, right, and these 3 bondings will be filled and the anti-bondings are empty. Now there is a question here, how to determine bonding and anti-bonding orbital. Suppose you are not asked to draw, right. Suppose for any higher system a orbital is given and it is not told to you that it is psi 1, psi 3 or whatever it is, right. Just by looking at the orbital you can say is it bonding or anti-bonding. See, if you count here, what is the bonding situations here in psi 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 bonding situation, and 0 non-bonding situation. Fine. Here you see there is 4 bonding situation and 1 non-bonding. So 4 bonding, 1 non-bonding. Here you have 3 bonding, 1 non-bonding, right. But in this case from psi 4 you see there is I think it will be 2 here, right. It will be 2. So 2 non-bonding in psi 3. Here in psi 4 you have only 2 bonding and 3 non-bonding. Here it is reversing. See, it is 1 bonding and 4 non-bonding, and for psi 6 all 0 bonding and all are non-bonding, right. So bonding molecular pi MOs are those which have more number of bonding situation than non-bonding situation. See, in all these three, right, here there was 0, so it exceeded non-bonding by 5, then 4:1, then 3:2. 3:2 is very close, it exceeded only by 1 bonding situation, but still bonding is winning, right? Bonding is winning over non-bonding situation. But from psi 4, see, bonding is losing, non-bonding is winning now. 2 to 3, 1 to 4, 0 to 5, right? So for any pi molecular orbital where you find that bonding situation is more than anti-bonding non-bonding situations, then you say bonding situation is more than the number of nodes, you can say they are bonding molecular orbitals. Whereas if it is reversed, that is bonding situation is number of bonding situation is less than the number of nodes, then you say it is anti-bonding. Okay, so this was the discussion about the pi molecular orbitals of polyenes. So we took 3 examples: ethylene, butadiene and hexatriene, and you can easily fill one by one, right? And one more thing, we already discussed all these things, right? This orbital psi 3 here is called the HOMO because it is the highest occupied molecular orbital, right? Electron is there in the ground state, of course, and this one is called the LUMO, that means lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, right? So for hexatriene, psi 3 is the HOMO and psi 4 is the LUMO. But for butadiene, if you see, psi 2 is the HOMO and psi 3 is the LUMO, right? Okay. For octatetraene, you can easily say that by your calculations and by those rules that psi 4 will be the HOMO and psi 5 will be the LUMO. Okay. Our next topic for today's lecture is aromaticity, right? Aromaticity. We already know that aromatic compounds like benzene, we have cyclic compounds like benzene, naphthalene and all these things, right, which have conjugation and all that. Now, why they are called aromatic compounds? Historically, these aromatic compounds, the compounds which have smell, good smell, right, pleasant smelling compound were told or were named as aromatic compounds, right? But it was found later on that there are many such compounds, and as the number of compounds of organic chemistry increased, right, this definition could not fit all of them inside it, right? So there are rather it was found that these aromatic compounds which are discussed earlier, had some particular properties of this conjugation and all that. So Huckel actually gave some laws regarding this aromaticity. He said that molecules must be cyclic, planar and uninterrupted pi electron system, right, to be aromatic. Not only this, he also imposed a condition that it should have 4n plus 2 pi electrons, where here n can be 0 also, right? This is not the n as quantum number, this is different. So here n also can be 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So if a system is cyclic, planar, uninterrupted, that means it like benzene, see, it is cyclic, planar in structure, means all the carbon atoms are in the same plane, and it has uninterrupted pi electron cloud. What is the uninterrupted pi electron cloud? See, we are used to draw this kind of canonical forms, right? So this is called uninterrupted pi electron cloud. Suppose here it is shown, we also discuss it later. See, all the carbons here are sp2 hybridized, right? So there is a unhybridized p orbital, right? Unhybridized p orbital in all of them. They are parallel to each other and they can sidewise overlap, right? And This is called uninterrupted pi electron cloud, and they can form a uninterrupted pi electron cloud below and above the plane. This is our first condition for aromaticity. The second condition is that just having uninterrupted pi electron system not sufficient. The system should have 4n plus 2 pi electrons also, right? Here in benzene we have 6 pi electron. See, it matches. If you put n equals to 2, n equals to 1, then you have 6 pi electrons, right? So benzene is aromatic by these laws, right? And while we study aromaticity, we also have to study two other terms, namely non-aromatic and anti-aromatic. Non-aromatic and anti-aromatic. What are those? See, non-aromatic are compounds which may have 4n pi electrons or 4n plus 2 pi electrons, right? But they are not aromatic because they lack the planarity. There is do not have the planar system, right? They are cyclic, but their delocalization is disrupted by somehow. We'll see specific examples. So non-aromatic compounds are those which may have 4n plus 2 electrons, but they are not planar. So this is enough to make the compound non-aromatic. Whereas anti-aromatic, right? Anti-aromatic is the compound which are planar, cyclic, and have uninterrupted ring system. So they satisfy all the three first criteria for aromatic behavior, but they have only 4n pi electron systems, right? Even number of these pi electron pairs. So only 4n pi electron systems. Now if you have 4n pi electron systems, then they are called anti-aromatic, right? They are not non-aromatic. Non-aromatic are those which can have 4n systems and may have also 4n plus 2 system, but they are not cyclic. So the difference between anti-aromatic and non-aromatic is anti-aromatic is cyclic, planar, uninterrupted system, same as aromatic is good, but it does not have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. It has only 4n electrons. That's why they are called anti-aromatic, right? Now we will see specific examples of these systems. So the first cyclic system is of course this cyclopropene system, right? Now suppose there is a single bond, double bond here. So this is our cyclopropene, right? So 1 pi bond, that means there is only 2 pi electrons, right? There are 2 pi electrons. What is this? 2 pi electrons. That means in which category it falls? Of course it falls in 4n plus 2, right? n equals to 0. So this is in 4n plus 2 system. Now you have to see, is it planar or not? See, this carbon is sp3 hybridized, right? So this hampers here, right? The delocalization is not complete. So that means it is not planar, and hence we cannot say it is aromatic, and not even it is anti-aromatic. It is what? It is non-aromatic, right? So it is non-aromatic because it has 4n plus 2 system, and it is non-planar, so it is non-aromatic. Okay, now for the same system, if you have a plus here, that means you are taking out the one of the carbon hydrogen bond with its electron and putting a positive charge on the carbon. Now this carbon also becomes sp2. This is called cyclopropenyl cation, right? So this still have 2 pi electron, so it is into the 4n plus 2 system, right? But now it is cyclic. I mean, it was a cyclic, now it is, I mean, there is uninterrupted flow of electrons. How? See, now you can draw resonance type of structures, right? So the bond will be here, so what is the hybrid? The hybrid form will look like this one: delta plus, delta plus, delta plus, right? So this is our canonical forms, and this is the resonance hybrid, right? So this is now aromatic. And one more is, now if you have a minus here, right, then also you can draw this kind of resonance structures, right? You can put it here and put the structure here and negative charge here, but so they are cyclic, planar, uninterrupted system. But you see here, now you have 4 pi electrons here, so this is the 4n system. So what will be it? This will be anti-aromatic, right? So for the cyclopropene it is non-aromatic. For the cyclopropenyl cation it is aromatic. So the cyclopropenyl anion, it is anti-aromatic. Okay. Now the next one is cyclobutadiene, right? Suppose this is cyclobutadiene, right? So you can think of drawing the resonating structures like similar to benzene, fine. So you put it here, one bond here, another bond here, right? So you can think of drawing it, but actually it does not happen. Why it does not happen? You see, number of electrons, there is 2 pi bonds, that means 4 pi electrons. So it is 4 pi system. So 4 pi system will be what? It will be anti-aromatic, right? It will be anti-aromatic. Okay. So it will be highly unstable. কি? কটা পাই বন্ড আছে? আমি তো বললাম তো কটা পাই বন্ড আছে। তো এক একটা পাই বন্ডে কটা করে পাই ইলেকট্রন থাকে?
ও আচ্ছা স্যার, ঠিক আছে।
So it will be highly unstable, right? Okay. See, it is so unstable that it does not remain in this form. Rather, it dimerizes. It dimerizes to this kind of structure, right? It dimerizes to this kind of structure, right? Suppose you have 2 cyclobutadiene here, right? What it does, it dimerizes to form this kind of structure, right? Okay. So cyclobutadiene is highly unstable because it is anti-aromatic. Now for the same cyclobutadiene, if you make 2 cations here, right? Now you break one of the pi bond and make 2 cations here. What you have here? Now you have 2 pi system, right? And it is cyclic also, right? You can easily flow, you can have the flow of electrons. So this is what 2 pi system. So 4 pi plus 4n plus 2 system, this one, where n is 0, n equals to 0. So this is aromatic, right? And what is the name of this one? So this is cyclobutadiene dienyl dication, right? So this is aromatic, right? One more point to note, that this cyclobutadiene is not square. This is not square, right? It has different bond lengths. Like in benzene, all the 6 bonds are similar, right? They are of same length, because you cannot identify between them, they are resonating. But here you have 2 different kinds of bond in cyclobutadiene, right? And this one is longer bond, similar to the single bond, right? So you have clearly 2 types of bond, carbon-carbon single and carbon-carbon double bond. So clearly it is not aromatic, right? So for cyclobutadiene dication is aromatic due to the presence of 4n plus system, plus 2 pi system and uninterrupted system. Sorry. Okay, next one is our cyclopentadiene system, right? See, in cyclopentadiene system, see, our next one is cyclopentadiene system, right? So in cyclopentadiene system, let us draw the basic structure first. So this is our cyclopentadiene, right? So we have again 4 pi electrons, see, 2 pi bonds, so 4 pi electrons, right? So this is of course 4n system, right? So of course this is not aromatic, but is it anti-aromatic or non-aromatic? See here, this is again sp3, right? So the structure is something like this. This is not planar, right? So it's somewhat like this, right? So this is out of plane, this sp3, right? These are the bonds. So this one is not planar, that means this is non-aromatic, not anti-aromatic, right? Okay, so this is non-aromatic, not anti-aromatic. But now if you have a positive charge here, right? So making this sp2, right? Now you can easily have resonating structures, right? But these still have 4 pi electrons, but now this is cyclic, so this will make it anti-aromatic, right? Anti-aromatic, because this is only 4 pi structures, not 4n plus 2 pi electrons, right? This is 4n system, but as it is cyclic now and uninterrupted pi electron system, so it is anti-aromatic rather than non-aromatic. But if you have an anion, cyclopentadienyl anion, if you have a negative charge here, now you have 6 pi electron system, so this is 4n plus 2 system, right? And again it is, you can draw this kind of resonating structures, right? So this is cyclic, planar, uninterrupted pi electron system and has 4n plus 2, so this is aromatic. And that's why this cyclopentadienyl cation is widely used in organometallic chemistry as ligands, right? They form sandwich and half sandwich complexes one of the most important is ferrocene, right? You might have heard the name of ferrocene, right? It forms those kind of complexes. And for the higher one, see, this is the benzene. We already have seen it. It has 6 pi electron system and it is aromatic. For the 7-membered ring, right, you have say heptatriene, cycloheptatriene. You have 6 pi electron system, fine, but it is not planar due to this presence of this sp3 carbon, right? So it is non-aromatic. It is non-aromatic. Whereas if you put the cation here, if you make a cation here, now it is uninterrupted service, right? And that's why it is aromatic now. It has 6 pi electron, cyclic, conjugated, planar with 4n plus 2 system, so it is aromatic. For the 8-membered ring, suppose say octatetraene, see, this one has 8 pi electron system. This is what? This is 4n system, right? And this looks like planar, right? And this is also conjugated. You can say that if you can do the resonating structures, then it would have been aromatic, but the aromatics this would have been anti-aromatic, right? As it is 4n system. But this anti-aromatic system is so unstable that it does not want to stay in anti-aromatic system. Rather than it breaks its planarity and goes look at tub-like structure. See, you have a tub-like structure here, right? It makes it like this with 2 different kinds of bonds. This single bond and a double bond here. Different kinds of bonds, so that now it is not planar, so there is no uninterrupted system. That means now it is not it is cyclic but not planar, and it has 4-end system, so it is non-aromatic rather than anti-aromatic. Okay, so now it is non-aromatic rather than anti-aromatic, because it is not planar anymore, right? Why it becomes not planar? I mean, why it sacrifices its planarity? Because in planarity it would be very unstable, because it is anti-aromatic. Rather than it sacrifices and becomes non-planar, right, and top shaped. Okay, now let us look more closely to the molecular orbital description of benzene. See, as we have seen in case of atomic orbitals, here also the 6 pi orbitals, the diagram we have shown, if you remember, this one, right, this diagram, right, the 6 pi p orbitals, right, these are shown as here. Suppose they are isolated p atomic orbitals, they have energy here. Now they combine together to give 6 molecular orbitals. So 3 of them is bonding and 3 are anti-bonding, right? Now how do I draw these energies? In cyclohexatriene that we have drawn these kind of structures, right? Psi 1, psi 2, psi 3. So different energies, all psis. Here you see both psi 2 and psi 3 are same, psi 4 and psi 5 are same, right? You still have 6, but it is like this, right? Let us first look at the molecular orbital picture here, how it looks like. So here the psi 1 have no nodes. Next higher level should have 1 nodes. So there are 2 ways to put it in the symmetric way. So here is 1 node here, right, like this, and you can also put it like this. So we have 2 molecular orbitals which are similar in energies with 1 nodes. Here there are 2 ways to put 2 nodes. So in the next higher level we have 2 energies where you can put 2 nodes like this, and here we have 3 nodes here, right? 3 nodal planes here. Okay, so these are our psi 1, psi 2, psi 3 are same energy. Again psi 4 and psi 5 are same energy, and psi 6 is the highest energy. Okay. Now this is the reason why this benzene is more stable than its open chain analog, right? The hexatriene. If you have this compound here, psi 3 is the HOMO, right? And this has higher energy than both of these psi 2 and psi 3. These have lower energy than this psi 3. As such, the electrons occupying psi 2 and psi 3 and all these will lead to much lower energy than this system, where psi 1, psi 2, psi 3 have different energies, right? So benzene is much stable than this one, this our open chain system, right? Okay, this was the molecular orbital structures of benzene. But you can say, what is the definite way to draw and find this kind of levels? How can I say that benzene is this one for cyclopentadiene? How many structures will have, and all these things, right? So there is a good method to derive this. This is called Frost's method to find the relative energies of pi molecular orbitals of planar conjugated system like benzene. Benzene was very known, and but the others you can easily draw. The first thing is draw a circle, right? The second thing is place the ring, suppose it's benzene or whatever it is, in the circle with one of the vertices pointing downwards. Suppose then I have to draw the benzene like this. So I am drawing one of the vertices downwards, right? Each point where the polygon touches the circle is our molecular orbital, right? See, it is same as benzene's molecular structure, orbital structure. Now if the polygon touches the circle, now we have to place the electrons, right? Now there may be cases that the polygon touches the circle in horizontal diameter. If it touches the horizontal diameter, that point would represent non-bonding orbitals. Now there is a new name, right? You are seeing that neither bonding nor anti-bonding. These are non-bonding orbitals, right? So electrons in non-bonding orbitals are here, right? You can see. See, by first method you can easily draw those for this cyclobutadiene system. See, first draw the circle, then draw the square in such a way that one of the vertices is pointing downwards. Now the 4 position that touches the polygon, the circle touches the polygon, makes our molecular orbitals. See, now we have something, the polygon is touching the circle in the horizontal diameter. So you have 2 rings here. So these will be our non-bonding. Below these are bonding, above this is anti-bonding. Now these have 4 pi electrons. So if you just put this as Aubert principle and following Hund's rule, you have the bonding is fully occupied. Now as they have same energy, you have 2 unpaired electrons in non-bonding. This is very unstable situation, and due to the presence of this unpaired electron, they dimerizes, right? We have already seen that this one dimerizes. See, for cyclopentadienyl anion, this was aromatic, this is aromatic, right? We have already found out 6 pi electron system. Similarly we have drawn, right? So the diameter goes here, horizontal diameter. None of the point of polygon is touching the horizontal diameter. 3 of them is touching down and 2 of them above. The aboves are anti-bonding, below is bonding. See, all the 6 electrons are occupying the bonding orbital. That's why it is stable and aromatic. Same is the case for benzene. All of the electrons are in the bonding orbitals, right? For heptatriene cation, see, which is aromatic, we have seen all of the electrons again are in the bonding orbitals. Now this one, the tub shaped octatetraene case, similar to the butadiene case, here also 2 of the orbitals are non-bonding, and out of the 8 electrons 6 are in bonding but 2 are in non-bonding orbitals and they are unpaired. Again this becomes very unstable, and they actually chooses to be non-aromatic rather than this anti-aromatic compound, right? It is anti-aromatic but it does not remain in this cyclic position. It chooses to be in non-aromatic system, becoming a tub shaped conformation rather than becoming anti-aromatic and unstable. Okay, so this was our discussion today about these pi molecular orbitals of polyene system and aromaticity. So with this we end today's lecture. In next lecture we'll go on to crystal field theory regarding transition metal complexes.